Boxing can contain several different personalities. Some boxers are unlikable, aggressive and outspoken, whereas others can be humble, quiet, and they let their fights do the talking. Some boxers resonate with the fans more than others. So today we're going to be comparing the most loved and the most hated boxers. Starting off with most hated, we have Floyd Mayweather.
If you get past Juan Manuel Marquez, who would you like next?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. All right, can I suggest somebody?
You can't. Hey, listen, you're not a promoter. You work
You said
for
it doesn't
ESPN.
matter. If it doesn't matter, I'll suggest somebody.
You can suggest whoever you want, but guess what? Only thing you do is you sit back and you interview me. I didn't ask it. Listen, you called me to do the interview. I didn't call you.
No, you're on a satellite tour.
But I didn't call you.
You're on tour.
But still, I didn't call
joined
you.
up.
I didn't call you.
Floyd, I enjoy talking to you. Who do you want to fight next, Floyd?
Like I said before, you're a man of many things, but you're a master of nothing.
I seem to be occupying my job, though. As you often say, you're just a guy with a job. I have a job, though. So who would you fight next?
Guess what? Your job don't pay like my job.
Well, it depends.
Your job don't pay like my job.
That brings me to another point. Why are you coming back?
I can make $200 million in 18 months because I want to. Because I want to come back and steal some more money. Is that okay with you?
It's fine.
Okay,
I enjoy watching your fights.
Okay.
Who might be next?
It doesn't matter.
Floyd is who comes to mind for a lot of people when they think of the most hated boxers. He's one of the best boxers of all time, 50-0, 5-division champion, one of the best resumes in boxing containing names like Diego Corrales, Zab Judah, Arturo Gatti, Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, Marcos Maidana, Manny Pacquiao. But despite his greatness in the ring, he's not the most likeable.
Of all the fights, you've had 50.
Yes.
Who would you say was your toughest opponent of all time? One of them that really made you have to work?
Well, out of my career, I just want to say none of them was really tough. None was really tough. I mean, you got guys that punch hard and hit hard, and you got guys that come out and win a few rounds. But nothing really was tough or hard. I make mistakes, but I strive every day to be a perfectionist. And we all know God only made one thing perfect, and that's my boxing record.
Floyd has been playing the villain in boxing for quite a long time. He's definitely leaned into the character, but there's definitely an aspect of the character that he plays that's a part of his real personality.
But I've missed my son, my 6-year-old son, I've missed for a week, but I probably haven't missed him quite as much as you would probably think, because I've had the fortunate to spend the full week with another fucking 6-year-old.
You could be from the Philippines, I'll take your fans. You could be from the UK, I'll take your fans. You could be from France, I'm gonna take your fans. And when it's all said and done, they're gonna become my fans.
You broke British hearts though, because Ricky Hatton is our man.
He's tough.
Tough kid?
Tough kid. I mean, I'll tell y'all he's tough, but truth be told, he's not really tough.
Was he easy to suss out as a boxer, or did you know how to box obviously beforehand?
You gotta realize he just got hurt, that's all he got. But
good on the inside?
I'm a different breed. I'm a total different breed.
Floyd, even in retirement, has this weird ability to make every question about himself. Regardless of the question, regardless of the conversation, he turns the conversation to himself all the time. Outside of his personality, the thing that boxing fans tend to dislike the most about Floyd Mayweather is the negative effect he's had on the sport. Floyd was taking on hard opponents early on in his career, but as he entered his 30s, he started to approach his career a lot more carefully. I'm not going to touch on the Manny Pacquiao situation because there was some ducking back and forth between both fighters that led to the fight not being made until 2015. But towards the end of his career, there were some legitimate world champions in his division, like Keith Thurman and Kell Brook, that he avoided fighting to preserve his record. And we've seen a similar approach mirrored by younger fighters, such as Gervonta Tank Davis. And he's partly the reason there's so many undefeated fighters in boxing today. And that's going to take us to one of the most loved fighters, Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao has always been an interesting contrast between him and Floyd Mayweather, because he lets his fists do the talking. He's got a similar great legacy to Floyd, minus the careful matchmaking and the outspokenness, because Pacquiao did lose a lot of fights in his career, but it's not without reason. Pacquiao started his career at 108 pounds in the light flyweight division, then moving up to 112 pounds, then to 115, then to bantamweight £118, £122, £126 as a featherweight, £130. He moves up to lightweight £135 13 years into his career, then up to 140 where he gets his breakout win versus Oscar De La Hoya, despite being undersized in the fight, then up to 147 to become a welterweight, then all the way up to £154. He actually could not physically make the weight for £154, where he fought giants like Antonio Margarito, so he weighed in at £10 below the 154 mark, and still beating Margarito in the process. Pacquiao famously had to bulk to make weight in his fights, and all that combined with his incredible resume, humble beginnings, humble personality, and the fact that every fight in his career is entertaining, there's a reason he's one of the most loved fighters in the sport. Moving on to a hated fighter, Tyson Fury.
I'm gonna bust him. Sausage, ugly little man, rabbit. You're fighting the best British heavyweight there's ever been. The dauntless in these waters, me. You ain't beat Tyson Fury yet, sausage. Look at him, his heart's pounding now. He's like a little with an earring in. House. His have shriveled up now, they have. Little sausage.
I don't
sissy
more
with an earring
speak.
in. You
I more speak in the ring.
getting knocked out, mother. And you two promoters are going to be working for me as bag carriers.
Maybe enough?
Sorry?
Enough?
Enough what?
You stop talk?
I come here to pick a fight. I didn't get all dressed up for nothing.
Tyson doesn't
When
matter.
you sleep at night, ugly man, you got to think of me for the next 8 weeks, because I'm going to punch your face in. Believe that.
Tyson Fury is someone that a lot of people, including myself, were fans before of Tyson Fury, mainly because of his story and where he came from. His trash talk seemed to be relatively light-hearted. Back in the Klitschko days, he obviously had his mental health struggles, so when he came back to beat Deontay Wilder twice, especially in the rematch, in the manner that he did, a lot of people were celebrating. But you can mark the beginning of people's issues with Tyson Fury to 2021, when boxing was on the verge of a mega fight between him and Anthony Joshua for undisputed. We were thrown a massive curveball in the form of Deontay Wilder vs Tyson Fury 3. Wilder activated the rematch clause, and instead of giving Wilder the step aside money for the Joshua fight to happen, Fury takes the fight, which a lot of people weren't happy with, considering how one-sided the second fight was. Fury knocks out Wilder as expected, and in the meantime Joshua takes on mandatory challenger Oleksandr Usyk, who ends up beating Joshua. So the Fury-Joshua fight becomes dead. Fury then takes on his mandatory Dillian Whyte, who Fury would knock out, and announced his retirement after the fight. Then in a matter of months, Fury comes out of retirement, where suddenly he offers Joshua a one-sided contract to fight him at the end of the year. Joshua doesn't accept the fight on one day's notice, then takes to social media to call Joshua a coward. But he knew for a fact that Joshua couldn't physically take that fight. It was a very quick turnaround after going 12 rounds with Oleksandr Usyk in their rematch, and he can't simply accept a contract on one day's notice, knowing that everything was in Fury's favour for that contract. Fury then goes and fights Derek Chisora instead, someone who Fury had beaten twice clearly and wasn't deserving of a title shot in any way, shape or form. Understandably, the fans had an issue with this, and Fury insisted on defending the fight and practically ignoring the idea that he should fight someone elite instead, like Oleksandr Usyk.
People say to me, oh, you beat him up, you beat two people, you beat this guy twice before. This is heavyweight boxing. Chisora's a formidable puncher, won it, it's over.
He's a better fighter now than when you are as well, but he's a better fighter now than...
Shut up.
What's the pink?
Shut up.
What's the pink?
The things that made me connect with you and many others, I always felt like there's a man who takes on a challenge, and that's why this Chisora fight I think is rubbing people up the wrong way, is because it doesn't feel like you're doing your usual thing that we love you for, which is it's not a challenge for you.
What is a challenge though? Getting an opponent's a challenge. That's the challenge.
Why not take the 6 months though? Why not wait for a Usyk? Why get Chisora?
Because it's my career. Why would I wait for somebody else? Some little Ukrainian foreign bosser. It's on my terms. I run boxing. I don't dance to somebody else's tune.
Chisora, he's lost 50% of his last 50 in fights, and even the last fight he won was a razor-thin decision, and the other 3 of his last 4 were losses. So
In very close losses to high-level opponents.
what I'm saying is with his record right now, I don't think he should be getting a world title fight. And I think there's a potential in boxing for people to get badly hurt when they're mismatched. And I think that this is a mismatch.
I don't. I think the heavyweight fights and anything can happen. Don't write Derek Chisora off, because you're only one punch away from victory.
Hey, big thanks for taking the interview, Tyson. I understand where you're coming from. Cheers, mate.
I think you're a tosser, you little toss-top.
Thanks.
And I won't be doing any more interviews with you little toss-top, bearded,
No worries,
bald-headed
mate. Thanks very
tosser.
much.
Kiss my balls, you little wanker. You little shit house.
Have you worked out how to close this phone? Are you all right?
Suck
Hit the button at the bottom.
As expected, Fury goes on to beat Derek Chisora, and people think maybe now, finally, the Oleksandr Usyk fight will take place. Fury instead takes a fight with the UFC fighter, Francis Ngannou, who had never boxed once before this fight, so Fury was now annoying a lot of boxing fans. He'd proceed to get dropped by Francis Ngannou and barely scraped by a decision to win the fight. However, there was one thing that made Fury more interested in a potential Oleksandr Usyk fight, and that's the fact that Turki Al Sheikh has now entered boxing and was now offering boxers 9-figure purses to take the right matchups. So coincidentally, Fury is now very interested in taking an Oleksandr Usyk fight, and the fight was set to take place 3 months after the Ngannou fight, which was eventually pushed back to May 18th, 2024, which may be a good time to talk about one of the most loved fighters in boxing, Oleksandr Usyk.
30 pounds easily, and all of these guys will fight.
The dynamic between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury is quite similar to Floyd and Pacquiao. Fury is loud, outspoken, arrogant, and annoys a lot of people with his matchmaking. Usyk is humble, takes any fight he can, and has a funny, likeable charm to him that Fury doesn't really seem to have, or used to have, but has now lost. Usyk has been silently working his way up to being one of the best names in boxing, winning a gold medal in the 2012 Olympics, winning his first cruiserweight world title versus Krzysztof Kowalski, then going to war with Maris Bridis in the World Boxing Super Series, and shutting out Murat Gassiev to become undisputed. Usyk then makes the massive jump to heavyweight, taking on the 240-pound unified champion Anthony Joshua, beating Joshua convincingly in front of his home crowd, beating him again in the rematch, keeping in mind that before Usyk moved up to heavyweight, people thought that guys like Joshua would be simply too big for him, and Usyk continued to beat bigger opponents until
Ones and twos, and then an uppercut to the body. Fury. Good work. Lovely jab. Fury cloud around this month. Fury. Finding his groove. Now Usyk.
Moving on to maybe the biggest villain in boxing history, Mexico's Antonio Margarito. Most of you should know the infamous story by now. Margarito is set to face undefeated rising Puerto Rican star Miguel Cotto. Cotto was the favourite going into this fight with a very promising future ahead of him, until Margarito surprisingly batters Cotto. Cotto seems the better boxer early on, but gradually takes more and more damage throughout the fight, leading to the normally very brave Cotto taking a knee, which isn't something people expected of him before the fight. People were surprised to see Margarito hit harder than expected, but no one really thought anything suspicious of the result at the time, until Margarito was set to face Shane Mosley, where a discovery is made in the locker room before the fight, surrounding Margarito's hand wraps.
How did you find out that Margarito was cheating? Because nobody ever discovered it until you came around.
So you're watching everything because you're overprotective as a parent. And I'm watching him rap, and I just saw the cushion on the table, and I picked it up to check it. And the thing was hard. I told the guy, I said, man, this really got deputy commissioner said, feels all right to me. I said, well, don't feel all right to me. And I mean, then the commissioner felt it. The commissioner said, no, that feels pretty hard.
Margarito had essentially filled his gloves with plaster, which would have hardened over time, making the hand wraps solid. So when they did a closer look at the hand wraps, which they weren't doing before, they noticed the wraps are visibly hard, and immediately made Margarito change his wraps. Afterwards, Shane Mosley would knock out Margarito in the 9th round, and a couple of years later Margarito would do something that made fans dislike him even more. He was then set to face Manny Pacquiao, and for a bit of context, Manny Pacquiao's boxing trainer Freddie Roach suffers with Parkinson's disease. So when this video came out before the fight,
What you say about that?
Hi, Freddie Roach. That's Freddie Roach right there.
Manny Pacquiao.
the video definitely rubbed people, and Manny Pacquiao especially, the wrong way, which may have fueled the massive beatdown that Pacquiao would put on Margarito, beating him up so bad that by the end of the fight, both Margarito's eyes were swelled up, so they finally gave Miguel Cotto the revenge fight, to give Cotto justice after Margarito's cheating that led to him winning the first fight, and they both had a face-to-face interview to discuss it.
Miguel said that only you and your team know about your hand wraps, but that you've never told him that you didn't use illegal wraps in your fight against him. Is there anything you want to tell him now?
Yo no tengo que decirle a él nada. Yo creo que estuvieron observando mi vendaje. Y si están diciendo todo de vendaje, pues total, entonces ¿Cuál es el problema? Entonces, ¿por qué firmó la pelea? Pues si él piensa que traía algo ilegal, no sé por qué firmó la pelea.
Can I say something? Can I bring a picture? Prende solo. How the hand reps right after my fight. How is it broken there? It's just gas. The gas doesn't get break.
Pero
Te la agrando y te la pongo más grande, mira.
no hay nada. Y si, o sea, entonces, ¿por qué? ¿Qué es lo que quieres? ¿No pelear o qué? ¿Por qué firmaste la pelea? No hay nada.
No,
está,
yo firmé
está
la pelea.
limpio, por eso.
Lo único es que yo he cargado mi derrota como un hombre.
No te preocupes, por eso. Así lo tienes que sostener.
Sí,
yo
mira,
te gané bien.
Mira.
Yo te gané bien.
¿Eso no está roto ahí?
¿Cuál roto? Esa es una foto. Mira los vendajes. Los vendajes se los llevaron. Los vendajes los tienen. Eso no tenía el vendaje. Entonces, mira los vendajes en vivo.
El mismo vendaje que te quitaron. De Mosley tenía el mismo lado rojo ahí.
Sí, bueno, ¿estás hablando de lo rojo o de lo supuestamente que lo rojo es de los guantes.
De todo.
Entonces, ¿qué te preocupas? O sea, ¿qué te preocupas?
Yo no te hablé de los rojos. Yo te hablé de los rotos que tiene el vendaje.
Mira los vendajes cuando se lo llevaron.
Simplemente gasa.
Mira los vendajes cuando se lo llevaron.
El vendaje simplemente gasa. Y
no hay nada, no hubo nada y no va a haber nada.
Rompe.
No hubo nada y no va a haber nada y vas a sentir el mismo golpeo.
No, ahí está.
Por eso, vas a sentir el mismo golpeo.
Hand grab breaking like that in this area?
¿A qué le temes?
It's no broke. He said it's no broke.
I cannot remember. What do you think that is, Antonio?
Yo no sé, el vendaje cuando a mí me lo enseñaron, cuando lo llevaron a la corte no tenía eso, no sé, entonces que miren el vendaje en vivo y total, o sea, yo no sé qué sea eso, pero estoy diciendo que...
Luckily, Miguel Cotto would convincingly outbox Antonio Margarito in their rematch, to the point where Margarito's eye would swell up again and the fight would be called off, making Miguel Cotto the winner by knockout. And that's going to do it for the video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, goodbye.